10 Secrets That Died with the Queen, Part 3. Let the dogs out. The Duchess of York was married to the Queen's son, Prince Andrew. Together they had two daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. The Duke and Duchess separated in 1992 as their marriage began to break down. The Duchess was less than discreet about her affairs with other men, leading the other members of the royal family to snub her. The situation only got worse when she was photographed topless on a beach with financier John Bryan. If that wasn't bad enough, the paps managed to get some shots of Bryan sucking her toes. Yeah, the late queen didn't take kindly to this and reportedly banned her from Balmoral. I mean, Sarah, if you love your feet so much and want to make a quick legal buck, there's a site called Feet Finder. I'm just saying, you weirdo. No shame to people with foot fetish. Dogs are man's best friend. Fun siblings. Edward VIII, the Queen's uncle, and George VI, her father, had another brother who was also called George, and he was known as the Duke of Kent. Unlike most other members of his family, George the Duke of Kent lived a relatively controversial lifestyle, which was said to be a bit of a concern for the other royals. It was reported that George had a long list of lovers, both men and women. He loved to party and also was a hard user of illegal substances. This gossip, alleged to be true by some sources, is said to have upset the royal family at the time, which kind of makes sense. But the real reason that I bring this story up is because the way he passed away was just a tad bit suspicious. He lost his life in a plane crash in 1942. The several theories suggest that due to his controversial lifestyle, he was assassinated. Now, we have to understand this could be hoax or propaganda due to the royals being in the spotlight, but I have read about how tight their security is. And although accidents happen, they don't happen to them too often. It does kind of make you wonder. The Queen also had another person in her life who lived this controversial lifestyle, because the late Queen was kind of arguably the most perfect person in the family, judging by the way she presented herself in public. She kind of seemed to say and do the right thing and was never caught in an embarrassing moment, except for the time she picked her nose. Her late sister, Princess Margaret, was a different story. Margaret was more carefree in her younger years. Sources report that she started smoking and drinking at age 15. She was more concerned about living the life she wanted rather than what was expected of her, and to be fair, that's a great life motto. She was married in 1960 and began an affair with a gardener 17 years younger than her, and 16 years into her marriage, while Queen Elizabeth obviously had a very long 70-year marriage. Princess Margaret divorced after 18 years. But they both, George and Margaret, sound like people I would enjoy partying with. Alright, Queen's close call. The Queen was almost shot by a teenager back in 1981. A former police officer revealed when she visited New Zealand in 1981, an attempt was made on her life by 17-year-old Christopher John Lewis, who fired shots at the British monarch. Apparently, the police and government officials covered it up in fear that Her Majesty would refuse to visit the country in the future. Christopher Lewis told investigators that an Englishman called Snowman, no, not Olaf, ordered him to take the Queen's life. He ended up being charged with 2 offenses and later jailed for 3 years, where he made plans to take the life of Prince Charles, now King Charles, during another visit to his country. Fortunately, he had terrible aim and none of the assassinations were carried out. Unfortunately, Lewis also took his life in 1997 during another jail term. Thing is, the Queen handled it though. The Queen handled it like a G. She wasn't scared of no gun, because some say the Queen is so bad arse that she in fact knows Victoria's Secret. Nicknames. Yes, the Queen had nicknames because she was a person at the end of the day. I couldn't really imagine it. I wouldn't go up to the Queen and just call her a nickname. You know what? I would have. But the fact is, she had 2 nicknames that people used on a regular basis. And no, not one of them includes Her Majesty. Her actual nickname she got called as a child was Lilibet. And what she's sometimes called, however, the Duke of Edinburgh has another nickname for her. Sometimes he would call her Cabbage. Don't ask, I have no idea. But it was the nickname he used for her. A strange one at that, yes. But she was also called Liz, Lizzie for short. Say what you will, but it sounds better than Cabbage. I agree. She is not a salad, What is cabbage? You even like cabbage? I don't like cabbage. Fluent in French. Yeah, she was bilingual. The late queen started learning French when she was just a young girl. Back in the day, when she was homeschooled after learning that she would be first in line to the throne, she started taking lessons in history and also in French. The queen spoke fluent French. She's even been filmed speaking in the language while having meetings with French officials without the need for any interpreter. In fact, it's been said that the late queen spoke French very, very well. Even though she's barely been heard speaking it very often, learning a second language is a great skill to possess, especially if you want to travel and broaden your mind. Let's be honest, French is one of the favorite languages in the world. It's beautiful, and it's nice. Bonjour, je m'appelle Kyle. Bonbon, baguette, bonbon, avec la maison. All right. Her purse. One thing that was clear about the late queen was her collection of handbags, 200 to be exact. There's a lot of mystery behind them. I mean, we already know that she uses her handbag as a form of communication with staff, but what we don't know exactly is what she even had in the handbag. I mean, she had a bunch of servants. Wouldn't she just have them carry her stuff? She didn't need a passport or a driving license, and we doubt she carried cash around with her because she's the queen. So what did she have in her handbag? A royal biographer says the two things you will always find in the late queen's handbag are a mirror and lipstick. Clarins lipstick, to be specific. Clarins is known to be one of her favorite brands, so naturally she's going to carry the brand of lipstick around with her. We saw her carrying around those L'Honneur purses with her at all times, but did you know that they actually serve a greater purpose than just carrying lipstick? Her purse is used as a way to send signals to her staff. Apparently there are certain signs to look for when it comes to the queen presenting her purse, and what she does with it would be very worrying if you're talking about the queen and saw her handbag move from one hand to the other. Royal historian Hugo Vickers told People why, because that would indicate to staff that she's ready to end the conversation and leave. In other words, you're boring, and she just doesn't want to talk to you anymore, and she switched hand with her purse, and you're lucky because she was one swift boom away from telling you shut up. Coupon. I don't know if you're gonna believe me here, you don't have to, but the queen had to pay for her wedding dress using ration coupons. It's exactly what she did in order to purchase her dream gown. You see, Princess Elizabeth at the time and Prince Philip got married in 1947 when the British government was still recovering from the post-WW II conflict. The rationing was affecting everyone, including the royal family. That's why the late queen was forced to collect clothing coupons in order to buy her wedding gown, and it certainly paid off with her bridal dress and tiara on her wedding day. She was a knockout. Her bridesmaid, Lady Pamela Hicks, told People magazine, and of course Philip was every girl's dream Viking prince. So you see, the queen isn't too immune to the act of budgeting. I mean, I bought lunch today with a coupon. What are you gonna do, sue me? Because I'll pull out a coupon for that too. Half off lawyer. Boom. What are you gonna do? Neon. Yeah, she wore a lot of neon. She wears it all the time. Oh, she wore it all the time. She wore neon out and about, and there was actually a reason for it. It's not just because she had a taste for bright clothing. It was actually so that you could spot her from a crowd. You have to be able to see that figure in a lemon coat and hat from far away. Hugo Vickers, the queen's biographer, told the New York Times. That's why you often saw her wearing bright pinks and lime greens, so the world can see her loud and clear. I'm right here. You can see her from far away easily if she wears bright clothing, like a frickin' traffic cone. At the end of the day, this was the queen we're talking about. Everyone has to be able to see her. There is no crowd when it comes to the queen. She is the crowd. She's the person of interest, point of contact. She's the person that everyone wanted to see, so she stood out. She was also tech savvy, so she may have been of an older generation, but the late queen is pretty tech savvy, okay? I might be exaggerating a little bit, because you know, she didn't build a computer, but she did in fact send her first email before I was even born. Her first electronic correspondence occurred in 1976. And if you were alive during that age, then get off your phone and go to bed, because 4 p.m. is too late for you already, grandmother. We're not sure if she sent too many emails those days, but we do know that she did have a Twitter page and a Facebook page too. She even used her own mobile phone, which was used to call her grandchildren. I mean, we don't know if she tweeted or if she just had PR, but we can say that the late queen isn't completely alien to tech gadgets. So She knows how to send an email and she knows how to use a cell phone. We're winning. The queen was the queen. She could do whatever she pleased. And if you don't believe me, watch my other videos of the laws the queen didn't have to follow. She literally could do whatever she pleased. She consumed 4 cocktails a day and no one could say anything. Why wouldn't she? She's got a lot of stress. That's exactly what she did actually every day. Her first drink of the day, according to her former royal chef, was a gin cocktail with a slice of lemon and ice, enjoyed not long before lunch. During lunch, she'll have a glass of a grape that is smushed and now has substance in it, followed by a dry gin martini to end the meal. This is only at 1 p.m. guys, all right? No judgment to her. Of course, she could again do whatever she wants, and she probably held herself pretty well. But then she would have her final drink, which would normally be right before she went to bed, and it was a flute of champagne. Could this be the key to her success and longevity? Maybe. Maybe I'll start drinking. Who knows? Thanks for watching.